Hello, everyone. Welcome to Ideas to Product Pitch by PM Masterclass. I am your host and founder of PM Masterclass, where we teach product management to aspiring professionals, either who are looking to transition into or accelerate their careers. I'm super excited to have with us an amazing panel here today, industry thought leaders from a diverse background. Dale, thank you for joining our show. He is the founder of Develop Great Managers. It's a podcast which I highly recommend all of you to go listen. We have Joshua Laurie, who is the Senior Director of VMware. He and I spent 2 years working on a product that is very near and dear to my heart. And we have Andrew Elliott, who's joining us, who's a Chief Revenue Officer at People Data Labs. He and I spent many years at Blue Jeans. So thank you guys for joining. I really appreciate it and super excited to have you on. I would love for each one of you to share with our audience a little bit about yourself, your journey, and then we'll move on to introducing the stars of our show. Dale, do you want to go first?
Sure, absolutely. Thanks for inviting me. I think this is going to be really fun. So I've spent all of my career in software, actually all of it in big platforms. I worked at Sun Microsystems, I worked at Juniper Networks, I worked at VMware, all of it in building products. I spent a little bit of time in customer support, helping to reinvent the way we supported our customers, moving from reactive support to proactive support. That's really where I got to know Josh. Well, I knew Josh a little bit before that, and hired Pashmeen into our organization to drive that product forward. Since then, I've gone off and I spent a lot of time on Develop Great Managers. I talk a lot about how to just help managers to be more successful. I interviewed Pashmeen and a few other people on product management as well. So if you're interested in learning more, there's some resources there for you. I also spend now some time angel investing. So super excited to be here, and I'm hoping I can give you some good advice as you move forward.
Awesome. Thank you, Dale.
Be like Dale. That's my advice for everybody. Hi, everyone. Josh Laurie, very excited to be here. I started my career in the United States Air Force. So I spent 4 years guarding nuclear weapons. Very interesting time of my life. But when I transitioned out of the military, I went back to school and I really wanted to get back into technology. I was always into technology, but I was kind of toying around in the military. When I got out, I got a job at Accenture, and I was delivering next generation data center projects for large government organizations like IRS and DISA. Once I kind of got my VMware legs underneath me delivering those projects, I was noticed by the VMware representative team that actually managed the Accenture relationship. So I got a job at VMware managing that in the Americas, that relationship. And then it just kind of snowballed from there. So I was running the Global Alliance for Accenture and CSC, now DXC, and then moved into engineering. That's where I met Dale. And we really took, a product set, individual products, and created a platform, created a solution. And that was VMware Validated Designs for software-defined data center. After that, moved into the global support organization to build this net new product called Skyline. And that was really taking support from a very reactive experience to proactive and predictive. And now that product is one of the fastest growing cloud services at VMware. So I run product marketing for that product, which is a fantastic role, and very excited to be here. Thank you.
Awesome. Thanks, Josh. Next up, we have Andrew.
Hi, everyone. Very excited to be here as well. Sounds like a pretty great panel. A lot of interesting people with very diverse backgrounds. My background is probably a little bit more mainstream. I got into tech in 2001, and I've always been on the revenue side. So today, I'm Chief Revenue Officer at a company called PDL. We are a data as a service provider. We actually work with product managers and data scientists, and a lot of products are essentially built out of our data. And I'm responsible for all of revenue and go-to-market operations, including marketing, sales development, customer success support, and revenue operations. So that's a little background on me.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Andrew, for joining us as well. So before we dive into today's presentations, let me just very quickly share with you all the methodology of this bootcamp and masterclass. So the idea behind this was to really help students transition, as I mentioned before, into product management as a career. So my masterclass focuses on 4 things. One is the basic building blocks of product management, which covers how do you identify an idea, how do you size an opportunity, how do you build personas, how do you come up with different solutions using a variety of frameworks, apply design thinking as you're looking at building solutions, and then also talking about a lot of prioritization frameworks, because as we all realize, we just cannot do everything at once. So that's one of the very critical components for a successful product manager. The other piece that we also focus on is fundamentals of business, right? I think as a product manager, we really need to have a very strong business sense and a business mindset, because we all want to be successful. We want our product to be successful. And so that's another very key component that my curriculum covers. We talk a lot about go-to-market. We talk about pricing strategies. And then, of course, the third component is stakeholder management, right? How do you work with engineers effectively? How do you work upwards, right? How do you manage upwards? How do you work with these different functions within your organization? So that's like the core content of my masterclass. In addition to that, I also help students with building their brand, which includes, of course, making sure that they are positioned successfully to be able to transition into product management. So there's a lot of career advice, coaching, and personalization that I offer. So this is my first batch. Super excited to have 3 students with me here. The 4th student had a very good excuse. She relocated from London to India very recently, and due to the challenging and tough circumstances we're in, she wasn't able to present, but she will present in the next cohort that is due to start on September 19th. So if anyone's interested out there, please go to my website. I'm going to flash that here in just a second. And with that, let's bring on the stars of the show here. First up, we're going to have Prithvi. But Prithvi, before you go, I just have a few housekeeping tips. We're going to have each student present for about 20 minutes. And then we're going to go into feedback and Q&A. So that's really the objective of this live stream here today, which is to give you an opportunity to pitch your idea, showcase everything that you've learned over the last 10 weeks, and then get feedback from our panelists. We'll do that for about 10 minutes or so, and then we'll take questions from our viewers on YouTube. So if we have anyone out there who has a burning question, feel free to comment away, and we will bring that in after every presenter. And last but not the least, I want to highlight that I do work at Amazon. However, none of the content that I'm using today or in my bootcamp is related to or an endorsement by Amazon, right? So this is all my own creation based on my experiences thus far. So with that said, let's get started. Prithvi, you ready to roll?
Cool. Yeah. Thank you. Thanks, Pashmin. And hello to everyone. Good morning, and hope everyone is doing good. And I'm really excited, and thank you, Pashmin, for the opportunity, like going live for the first time in my life, and then being with this great panel members here. And yeah, let me share my screen. Okay, hope you are able to see my screen. Let me know when you guys are able to see my screen.
Yep, we can.
Cool, thank you. And Powtoon, this is a platform where I develop my slides, so I can't remove this logo, so just ignore that for a moment. And yeah, a little background about myself. I'm Prithvi, senior software engineer working in ServiceNow. I came to US for my master's, which I did in California State University. And then I started my professional career as an intern in ServiceNow, and then I got my full-time in 2018. So, and as my next step, I'm just planning to pursue my product management. So that's when the journey with Pashmin started. And here I am presenting you guys my project. Okay, so let's get into the project. Okay, so this is a little bit of intro about myself. And then, okay, so are you guys fed up with finding mentors in your career, or does career guidance or getting your questions related to career or building a brand for yourself taken too much of your time? Let's see one such person, Peter Parker, who is a student and an intern in a public company as a full stack developer. So he's young, trendy, loves music, fashion, film, travel, and sports, and also has a huge passion for programming. He's an extrovert, logical, multitasker, ambitious, and energetic. His goals are to graduate with honors, complete his internship in a good note, and find a job that is in alignment to his passion. He also struggles to find the real world professional experience and gets frustrated on how to land his dream job. And on the other hand, we have Tony Stark, who is a technical architect who loves to play with technology, design, and coding. He loves to party and never hesitates to spend money for fun. Cars and sports are his favorites, and also enjoy giving solution for complex technical problems. He is also an extrovert, a forward thinker, ambitious, energetic, tech savvy. His goal is to start his own tech company and stay up to date on the latest technologies available. He's also struggling to find a platform where he can create a brand for himself and have a following for his techie knowledge. So I validated the problem by sending out surveys in Facebook groups and to my friends, and also interviewed people in person. So I got around 44 responses for the mentee survey, out of which 31 are ready to subscribe to the platform, and 13 are not ready to subscribe. And also I got for 38 mentor responses, out of which 27 are willing to subscribe and 11 are not willing to subscribe to a platform that helps you to brand yourself. And as you see, the survey responses are scattered with people from software engineering, product manager, business analysts, testing folks, students, engineering managers, sales, and from young professionals to experienced professionals. Okay, and also I interviewed 15 people having this idea in mind. Most of them agreed that this platform will help them a lot, and few said that they will subscribe based on the fee and how well the platform is performing. And the interview folks who I have interviewed are also from different domains like engineering managers, product owners, software engineers, testing folks, students, and fresh grads. And one of the comment which I got in an interview with Hari is that this is a great platform to give guidance to people in need and show fresh grads how real world experience will be, since most of them feel lost after college. I feel this is a motivating comment for my product. And one other important comment which I got from Agalya is that privacy would be a vital part, and this will be of great benefit if she can post anonymously, since her colleagues will also be there in the same platform, which is a very valid point, and I took into consideration. So considering all the survey responses, and taking into account from the comments which I got in interview, we have just the solution for you, which I call it as tutor follow mentors is the tagline for my product Tutor. And it is one platform where mentees can find mentors on their respective field, follow them and get connected with them, and also set up some time with them for personalized coaching. Mentees can post questions, videos, like or comment any other posts or videos, either by being anonymous or non-anonymous. It's their choice. So whereas mentors on the other side would get the opportunity to get a following and build a brand for themselves. So let's see how I envision my product. So this is going to be the registration page. On the left side, you see the registration page for mentees. And on the right side, you see the registration for mentors. So mentors, you would have a few extra fields that you need to fill other than the basic info, like the rate, what he is charging, and the time slot he is available for giving the coaching. And also there will be option for mentees to choose being anonymous or non-anonymous. Let's say our persona, Peter Parker, registered as mentee, and then this is how he will see his profile. You can see in the left side that he can see his followers, his following, and all the posts he has posted. And he can edit his profile as well on this one. On the right side, what you see is the home screen. Once you get into the product, so this is the home screen you will see over there. So there are options to search, and you can DM anyone, and also the Get a Mentor is the one which we are looking at. So once you click on Get a Mentor, it will take you to a page where you can see the list of all the mentors available, and you can see the ratings for them, the slots available, and you get to choose the mentor on your wish. And once Peter chooses Tony Stark as his mentor, so he can see Tony Stark's profile where he can follow, unfollow, DM him and his post, his interests. And there is a button called services over there, which you see on the right side, right corner. And once you click on the services, you get to see what are the services he is offering, like resume review, one-on-one coaching, mock interviewing tips, and personality development. So let's say for now, Peter Parker is choosing one-on-one coaching. So that will take him to a page where he can select the package, like is a 2-session package, a 3-session or 5-session package. And once he selects one, he'll be able to book the time slots over here. And once he's fixed an appointment, he's good to go to have a coaching session with him. So the competitors which I feel are going to be vital to my product are Blind for its anonymity, LinkedIn Learning, YouTube, Coursera, Udemy, and Udacity for the video courses, and finding mentors, SuperPeer and Find a Mentor would be a vital competitor. But I have never seen any product in the market right now having all these three things combined together. So that's where my product came into picture. Okay, let's see some SWOT analysis. So as I said earlier, the strength of my platform is to have mentors and mentees get connected on a social media platform, and the mentees get to be anonymous if they wish to, and they can ask any questions, or they can follow any other friends or mentors where they can see all their questions and give comments on it and get to know all those stuffs from them. The weakness which I see is like getting users and mentors into the platform is going to be challenging. So that's what I feel it'll be a bit of weakness to the platform. And an opportunity, like getting great people and getting great mentors into the platform would drive the traffic into the social media platform, which I'm envisioning on. Threats, I would say LinkedIn would be a bigger threat. Like if the competitors can also do something similar to this platform, and I believe LinkedIn has the video course and also the finding a mentor thing through LinkedIn. So those are the threats, and that here comes the money. So the monetization strategy, what I'm thinking of is like having ads in the platform and a subsidiary fee when mentee set up coaching or other services with mentor, and some affiliate marketing like for books, mainly for books. And having 25 mentors on the MVP of this product, and having at least 250 new profiles in 6 months after the release, and at least 50 users use the services which I'm providing in the platform, and overall 1,000 posts in the platform in the 6-month period are considered as my success metric for my product. And yeah, I'm planning to do a press release on Jan 15th, 2021. And the execution strategy is to bring mentors first, then give them the ability to create content. I will also create curated content and use existing social channels to drive users. And the target audience would be like mentors, young professionals, and fresh grads. So here's the roadmap which you were seeing. So 2021 Q1, I'm planning for the MVP release where you have the basic features like creating profile, post, find mentor, and set up some service with the mentor. So in 2021 Q2, what I'm trying to have is a calendar in the tutor platform itself, so that you don't have to send out a Google Calendar invite or something, right? And then in 2021 Q3, what I'm planning is to have a tracker so that like once I set up a goal for myself, I can track my progress of the goal in the platform itself. And on 2021 Q4, I'd be like to have a section called events where you can find the events and like career fairs and expos around you. So in 2022 Q1, I'm planning to have the ability to create stories in the platform, like Instagram stories. Yeah. So, and then my vision. So company's vision is to have one social media platform which connects mentees and mentors to get career guidance and build a brand for themselves with the following. So this is my vision, and that's it with my presentation. I'll leave the floor open for questions.
Woohoo! Awesome, Prithvi. This was amazing. I love the slides, by the way.
Thank you.
Love the slides.
Yeah, so
Cool.
Prithvi, I'm gonna jump in if I can. I feel like we're not really supposed to do this, but I have some passion around what you just talked about. So first of all, I'm going to open with I love the concept, and I think that's what we're not supposed to really do today. We're supposed to be a little more objective around certain elements here. But I just want to say, I think that the concept's really cool. Part of the reason I say that is I mentor actually with Alchemist Accelerator, so I work with a lot of early founders on go-to-market. And I also mentor with Year Up, which is an amazing program nationally helping to bridge the opportunity divide. So this happens to touch upon something that I'm just naturally very passionate about to start with. And I think that there's a really interesting opportunity in the marketplace. So I thought that you really did a great job as you kind of set forward the problem statements, what it is you're trying to do. I think there's a lot of interesting elements here. There's a lot to unpack. One thing that I was very tactical around, I'd like to learn a little bit more is from the mentor rating perspective. How will that work? How will the mentor rating work?
It's from the people who get coached by themselves. Who coached by them, they can review them, they can write reviews, and they can rate the mentor. So that's what I have in mind.
Yeah, I think it's an interesting aspect of it that is worth probably thinking through different elements as well as the MVP kind of comes together and unfolds at more of a strategic level. Can you tell us more about how you envision? I know you've got ads, fees, and different things for the monetization. Can you share some more around that?
So yeah, I think like ads, right? Like in the platform, when you have ads, we can get a pricing for that, and then for the subsidiary fees, like for each service, mentor can rate amount. Like for resume review, he can give some. He can specify that he might charge $50 for a resume review, or for a session with for a 1 hour session, he might charge $50 or a $60 thing. So on top of that, I might get a subsidiary fee when a mentee is setting up a coaching with mentor. I can get like maybe $3 or $5 of subsidiary fee on that. So that's how I'm planning, and I think it has a lot of other opportunities as well. But as of now, for the MVP, I'm just going with this approach, and then like affiliate marketing is one other thing which I'm thinking, and maybe later I think I might get into other things develop other things to get the monetization.
Got it. I'll wrap up with this. I've got a lot more thoughts and questions, but I want to let everyone else go. So just to make sure I understand, it's a subscription model where both mentees and mentors are paying to be part of the platform as a baseline. Is that correct?
Firstly, for the MVP, I'm not going to go with the subscription.
Okay.
I'm going to go with the freemium model. So I'm going to allow them to register freely for now. Maybe later I would make it as a subscription model. And
that would be for both mentors
both.
And mentees. And then there's a revenue opportunity to create an income stream for the mentors as well. Very cool. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you.
Hey, Preeti, I thought you did a great job presenting a comprehensive case for this platform. I think mentorship is one of the most important things as you're growing your career, to kind of guide you and have a supporter in your corner when you need them. So I think everybody should have a mentor. So you're one of the things I was thinking about is, you kind of went into who your personas were, right? Peter Parker, Tony Stark, some of the mentors that you would get on the platform, but you didn't express the market size. I thought there was an opportunity for you to say, hey, how big is this thing? And also, as you were going to present, or if you're going to present the market size, if you wanted to take it in any sort of industry slant, because you can make this platform specialized to technologists, the Tony Starks of the world, and have mentors that are CTOs, right? Versus generalists like Peter Parker, who want to go into a business or maybe product marketing, right? Or be mentored by a GM or something like this, right? So you can explain the market size and then also really focus your platform on an industry. That was one comment that I wanted to make. The other question that I had is, I believe that getting folks like Andrew, who are already mentoring in all these different aspects, getting them onto your platform, because they're going to be the draw for all of your mentees to come on, because you're going to want to have people like Andrew who are established in the business and know things mentoring. How would you market to them? How would you get them on the platform?
Yeah, exactly. So one other feature what I'm trying to give to mentors is, like, apart from branding themselves, they get a fee for the posts and comments what they are doing in their wall. So that drives them to create more content and be in the platform, right? So like in YouTube, when you have a certain number of subscribers and a certain number of views, you get paid. So I'm just kind of combining YouTube and with LinkedIn and all those things and blind together in this platform. So I believe this would drive mentors to be on this platform and create more content.
Yeah, my personal opinion on it, and Andrew, you should touch on this too, is if you were marketing to me, like, I'm not necessarily looking to grow my brand at this point, right? I want to just help folks that are coming out of college, or maybe new in their career, help them grow, right, and see them knock down first after first. And yes, I think paying for services, that's great. Maybe you make that optional to the mentors. But Andrew, what do you think about that? Would you come on a platform, or what would be the reasons for you to come on a platform like this?
Yeah, so you asked a question which was one of the ones I left off on, which is like, what, there was a discussion briefly around in the presentation of, obviously you got to get mentors and mentees on. Which one's more important? I think clearly, obviously, we think mentors are. How do you get them? And going through that process of what's important to them, because it probably will vary. Some people may be looking to still grow their brand. Some people may be looking to monetize. For me personally, the monetize, the income element is not really a consideration as much as there's an opportunity to, get in front of folks that have a lot of energy, enthusiasm, passion, and potential, and help them grow into those things. So I think there's some things that probably sit in front of, get your group of mentors together and really dig into what they're going to find interesting, and then figure out how to identify that market, get in front of them, and bring, gradually and incrementally bring them on board. For me personally, creating income through this wouldn't be my primary driver at all.
Yep.
Yeah.
Cool.
Discovery for opportunities, right? At one point, I struggle, like, hey, I want to help people, and I want to help, aspiring professionals. But where do I go? Like, how do I find people who are willing to learn from me, from my experiences? So I think that's another avenue to bring and attract mentors, is giving them a variety of platforms, a variety of nonprofit organizations, right? The one that Angie, that you're working with, surfacing those organizations on, so that as a mentor, you get to pick who you want to affiliate with, who you want to partner with, and represent. So that could also be a very interesting way to get mentors on.
Yeah, I think doing a deep dive on the personas, both a mentee and the mentor, maybe the mentor, even deeper, because that's where you really want to create the gravity for the platform, and just seeing what they want, right? Just like Andrew and Pashmin and probably Dale, who's one of the best mentors I've had, will say. My last question is, you presented the company as a B2C company. So you would be kind of going out to consumers. Do you see this as a B2B company where you can provide this platform to companies as their mentor platform?
Yeah, actually, I thought about that, but that thought came to me in a later stage. So I had to skip that in the presentation. Like, I think there is one available called Workplace in the market. So where it's a social media platform for the company itself, only for the specific to company. So, but still, it doesn't have a mentoring feature in it. So I think that's where I can do, do justice to this product. Like, I can get into companies and just have only the company folks in the system, in the platform, as a social media platform. And also they can find mentors within the company, which will help the young professionals, whoever is seeking to trying to transition into a different domain from a specific domain. Like myself, I'm a software engineer, and then I'm trying to get into product management. So I think they can get all the insights from the employees, colleagues itself.
Yeah, I think that's a really interesting area, because I know companies struggle with this from an HR perspective. And, when I look around, we strive to get everybody on the team a mentor. But when I look outside of our team, there's probably the majority of people don't have a mentor in VMware. Yeah. And that's like a miss. I really think, and VMware is such a big place, 30,000 employees now. How would you know who you look up to, or who would be a good mentor for you without something like this, with us being all remote? So definitely take a look at that as well.
Yeah, sure.
I think just to really underscore that, I think there's two very interesting channels. Hopefully my internet's coming through all right now. And by the way, Josh, I think your comments about TAM and industry focus are really critical as well. But Pashmin, you kind of mentioned, or I felt like what I heard at least was partnering. There's a channel to everyone already doing this. So I work with Europe. I mentor through there. It'd be amazing to have a platform like this integrated to work with all of those type of organizations out there. And then to Josh's point, the B2B play, like that's where you can move an exponential go-to-market velocity around something like this versus trying to pull onesies, twosies, mentors onto a platform, which I think is also a huge market, just a much heavier lift to get into in some respects. And like all of the Europe's out there that don't have a technology platform like this, it's a very kind of no-brainer scenario to empower both cohorts on either side of this with a technology platform like this. So I think both of those, B2B and also the nonprofit sector, are really, really interesting areas for you.
Cool.
Yeah.
All right, I get to follow, and so many of the good comments have been taken, so I love it. A couple things that I just, I love the idea, but I was focused more on the presentation than the idea, although I do love the idea. So a couple things I just wanted to give you as maybe food for thought, because I think you have thought through the idea. You have a lot of information. Figuring out how you can most effectively present that is kind of what I focused on. And the number one thing is what Josh started off with, I think, is how big is this market? I think the market's massive, but just quantifying that a little bit. And I know Andrew said he worked with Alchemist. I've sat through a lot of angel presentations lately, and you got to get the message across in 2 minutes. So luckily you had more like 20 minutes. But getting the message across about how big that market is, I think would really help. The second one, I think Josh even touched on as well, is you gave a couple of personas, but I really didn't grasp what it was in those personas that, what were they really looking for? I kind of got it as you went along in the presentation and even in the Q&A when you're talking about particular skills you might be looking for or developing your brand or whatever it might be, but I kind of missed that in the personas. So it didn't initially hook me. The personas didn't really give me that connection back to, okay, I'm one of these, or I've been one of these, or I know people that are like this. So I think if you can refine those down, less information, but really help me understand, what it is, what are the couple things that those personas represent that really trying to get out of being a mentor, and maybe even personas around mentees. Sorry, mentee, those are about mentees, maybe more about a mentor. Like what kind of mentors would you be looking for? Because when I think about what you're trying to do here, you probably want multiple mentors, depending on what it is you're trying to develop. Like I might not be the best person to help you with brand, but maybe I can help you with, one aspect of what you're looking for. So maybe there's some personas on the mentee side and on the mentor side that you can simplify so it really hits home, and immediately I'm like, yep, I get it. And you can always say there's a lot more, and when we have more time I can go through and go through those in more detail. I think the monetization, well, maybe before I get to that, attracting the mentors is a lot of what everybody's been talking about. I mean, it's the key, right? If you have great mentors and somebody can go on there and find somebody willing to help you, has the right experience, whether that's within your company, and Josh is exactly right. If I think about VMware, I was oftentimes trying to find somebody in a different organization to maybe be a mentor for one of my folks because I happen to know them. But that happened to be just a few people that I was thinking might be available and interested and willing and have time. And then I would go ask and, see if they were willing to take on a person to do mentoring, if you had any way to structure that. But anyway, back to, the mentors are the key. Is if you've got great mentors there and mentees can do some kind of search, find somebody, hook up with them and get what they're looking for. I think the idea is great, but I think that I was struggling a bit with how you were going to attract kind of that key piece of your whole plan. And then the monetization, you sort of touched on that briefly, but it's the key, right? Ultimately, this thing doesn't happen if you can't monetize it, right? And so I think you just have to make sure that you give enough of what you would do initially, and then even where you're thinking about going, that somebody's going to buy into it. Whether if it's a big company that's buying into it and they don't see the monetization strategy, like almost no chance, right? If it's a startup and you can't sell, the angels that this thing's going to make money, it's not going to happen, So it's really good to have Andrew on because he understands this far better than I do. But that you just have to make sure, even in one slide, that you walk away and go, okay, there's 2 or 3 different ways to ultimately, start out free. We'll add this. We'll go to this. Where you can really see that path. I think is the key. And then I think Josh also mentioned this as well. Is when a roadmap to me is so many things happen along the way. Having a really well fleshed out roadmap matters less than how are you going to get that first, what's that first step you're going to take, and how is that one going to take off, and do I believe that can actually happen? I think that all of that would maybe strengthen your pitch. A couple of things I would just leave out is I wouldn't put a SWOT analysis in there at all. You have the competition, you talk about them, you know them. Most people who look at it just want to know that you know them and you've thought about it and that you understand enough about them. SWOT tends to be a big company thing, not a little company thing. I think at the end, the last thing that Andrew really talked about, or maybe Josh did first, about bringing it into a company is how, that you don't have to have any of that fleshed out, but you can say, look, the first step is this piece, then we're going to go after this. You don't even really have to know how to do it, but ultimately you want an idea that's got a longer life than just the first step, right? And I think you have a good enough idea. So if you can kind of weave that in there as well. So anyway, those were my feedback on the presentation. I think it's a great idea, and I think you had much of it. Just kind of refining it is all you really need.
Yeah. Cool. Yeah. Thank you. Thanks for the feedback. And yeah, as you all said that the mentor part, I thought like it's maybe a like kind of a open-ended thing, like where I feel like I'd be needing more mentors, so I didn't go into specific field or something. But I understand where you're coming from, so I'll take those feedbacks. Thank you all.
Awesome. Thanks, Prithvi. That was absolutely amazing, and thank you, Dale, Josh, and you for your feedback. Very valuable. Cool. So next up, let's move on to Munawar. Munawar has a very interesting idea, and I just hope it doesn't make us all feel hungry. So Munawar, take it away.
Thank you, Pashmin, for giving the floor. Let me go ahead and present the screen. Can you all see my slide, full screen?
Yep.
It's coming. Yep.
Okay, great. I'd like to welcome all of you, all the panelists, Mr. Dale Ferrario, Mr. Josh Laurie, and Andrew Elliott for coming to this auspicious occasion. And definitely special thanks to Pashmin from my mentor, the founder of PM Masterclass, to giving me the opportunity to present my idea live. Well, a little bit about myself. It's me, Munawar Hassan, and I'm an aspiring product manager. I did my MBA in 2019, and concentration was in marketing from Santa Clara University, Levy School of Business. I took a class in Santa Clara University, New Product Innovation, and that's when my aspiration to become a product manager started. And I got the opportunity in Santa Clara University to meet some of those product management guru like Rich Mironov and Louis Lean. And but all the aspiration was scattered. It was Pashmin who actually guided me. His mentorship enabled me to connect the dots. Currently, I'm working as a Chromebook sales specialist for a company named Premium Retail Service, and I have seen Chromebook how it evolved in the last 8 years from being just web browsing device to a device for the mainstream. Enough of my jabber. Let me get back to the project. Let me get into the project. So I know a lot of you will be feeling hungry by looking at it. It's my project name is Crave API, but don't think that it's another food delivery application. It's something different, and that's what I'm going to come up at the end of my presentation. Let's save the best for the last. So let me talk about my light bulb moment. A few months back, a few of my friends were discussing on a chat. We were having a chat, and then we were talking about this delivery application. We had difficulty finding the right food in the delivery application to crave what we are willing to eat for that particular moment. So we have to jump from platform to platform to find the best and price for the delivery fee, as well as the best food option or the time of delivery. And this was the discussion we had I had with few of my friends. But then I did try to verify it with few more friends of mine, apart from those friends and my coworkers, and everybody was having this notion that they need an efficient way to order food that they crave and with the best delivery option. So the idea of Crave API was born. So before I talk about in details, I just wanted to point out what I'm going to talk about, like serially, what the pain points, the problem validation, the user persona, the problem statement, the solutions, the use cases, the MVP, the success matrix, the go-to-market plan, the monetization strategy, the product roadmap, and finally the vision and company goals. So here's the customer pain point, what I found out, the opportunity identification. Users found that it is difficult jumping from platform to platform to compare delivery fees and time. User would like more price comparison, user would love loyalty program, user would like to see nutritional values, and they want a platform something like Kayak or Expedia. So I did some online research, and there was actually a competitor named Food Boss, but they have some drawbacks. They have a high bounce rate, and they focuses on restaurant, not the cravings. I did more validation, the opportunity validation through online market research, qualitative surveys, and quantitative surveys. And in the market research, I found that online food delivery business is booming, and it is growing a year over year 16%. And it's a it will be a $30 billion industry by the year 2024. There are two categories, restaurant to consumer delivery, and another one is platform to consumer delivery. Well, I'm going to focus on this project, the platform to consumer delivery. That includes DoorDash, Uber Eats, Grubhub, Postmate, Caviar, and many others. So what are the advantages? They save drive time, and they're convenient, and they are much easy to use. Few disadvantages includes that it gets expensive into when the delivery and the food price is included, and occasionally it takes longer time. And over here we can see the chart, the DoorDash, it takes the bigger chunk of the pie. They are close to 50% of the market share, and the rest of the players are here too, the Uber Eats, Postmate, and Grubhub. I did a quick validation to some of my potential users, a sample size of 25, and asked them on a scale of 1 to 10, how difficult it is for you to find the right delivery provider for the food that you're craving. 10 being the most difficult, 1 being very easy. So about 68% mentioned it is really difficult for them. And then another question was asked, would you be interested in a platform that could compare various food delivery services and could give you a better view of their services? And 41% mentioned yes, 59% mentioned no, maybe, and surprisingly nobody mentioned no. And from all those data, I was able to grab some user persona, Timely Team, Frugal Frank, and Hearty Heather. Timely Team, who is a busy professional, punctual, expect timely service and want to save time while ordering food from outside rather than driving to a restaurant and wait for the order. Frugal Frank is a college student, always looking for money-saving options and sign up for more loyalty program. Hearty Heather, she's health conscious, check the nutritional value for every product while shopping, occasionally order food from outside. From this, we focus on Timely Team and Frugal Frank. We prioritize on these, and we built up the high opportunity hypothesis that busy professional and college student experience high prices and late delivery when ordering food delivery online. Because of the inability to compare prices and delivery time, and alleviating that pain would let them get better visibility, save money and time, and reduce stress. What was the ideal solution? It's a new service called Crave API. Focuses on users' craving, not location. Location filter will still be there and shows either a particular food or particular category of restaurant, compare prices and service review with various restaurant and delivery partners, show users the comparison options. Users select the particular food and order it. Fulfillment of the food delivery will still be there through the existing platform like Uber Eats, DoorDash, and other delivery partners. Busy professionals, Timely Team. We talk about the use case, the first use case with the busy professional. So he caves for the Mexican cuisine. The app locates and display nearest Mexican restaurant within the 25-mile radius, looks at the favorite restaurant or best reviewed Mexican restaurant, select the restaurant with less wait time, scroll to the menu, select them, compare the price and time of delivery from various delivery partners, order food, using the best food delivery partners platform. Use cases and for Frugal Frank, craves for cheeseburger, the app locates the display in the nearest restaurant within 25-mile radius that offers cheeseburger, looks for the cheapest option, but both food and delivery service, selects the restaurant and delivery partner, order food online using the best food delivery partner program, and also sign in for loyalty program and earn points. So I have designed the mock-up for the wireframe. So if Frank, put up the search in the lookup option, the egg sandwich, all these will pop up, like this from egg sandwich here, and then all the restaurant option will pop up. And then when they click on the carousel, all the delivery partner will pop up showing the estimated time, the total fees, and then the user can select the appropriate delivery partner and order their food using this app, Crave API. So success metrics, it will be the total percentage of a successful transaction, and then retention rate should not go below 50%. An NPS score, if it's 50, it should show a positive indicator. And also the percentage of user who wrote reviews on the App Store would be another success metrics. Also, all these success metrics are important: daily active user, monthly active user, and as well as daily sessions per DAU, as well as stickiness. What will be my go-to-market plan? First, there will be a soft launch to all the busy professional and college student, and who are using the apps regularly, and also to the food bloggers. Then create a 20 to 30-second viral video content via YouTube advertising. We'll hire a food blogger, and they can write blog posts on blogs like Medium and other famous blogs. Then also promote the product on social media, like on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, radio ad during rush hour drive time too, and audio ads on podcasts before, in between, and after the session. And definitely App Store optimization. Also, when the launch took place, after post-launch, I will do email marketing, drip campaign to active user, and request for review. Now comes the monetizing strategy. Two ways we'll earn revenue from this delivery partners and restaurant. First one is agency model and advertising revenue through CPC, cost per click, sponsored ad. So here, the monetizing strategy, how it will work. Customer orders food using Crave API. Crave API Crave API passes the order to delivery partner, and Crave API collects commission or CPC fee from respective delivery partner. So the restaurant can put their ads on the platform, just like Google's search engine marketing or Facebook native ad. And the product roadmap on Q1, we will focus on gamification. We'll add points system, reward system, redemption. And then Q2 2022, we'll add customer support. We're adding customer chat support for better visibility on user feedback. And then these feedback can be later used to iterate or add features to our platform. In Q3, we will set up premium accounts for those users who are using our platform frequently for additional benefits, and also facilitate multiple restaurant order. Additionally, on Q4 in 2021, we will build a recommendation engine within the platform. So whoever ordered food and based on their past behavior will recommend products and food delivery restaurant to them accordingly. And also, I have made a product requirement document for this. Let me share that separately, quickly. So this is the use case for ability to order a particular food in a timely manner for the persona timely team. He adds chicken quesadilla, and then how it's done. It's all the use cases are shown, the acceptance criteria, and all the non-functional requirements. Rollout plan starts with Bay Area, then entire like North America by phase 5, and then these are the open topics. And let me go back to the slides now. So what is it actually? Let me share you the surprise. Just in a minute. Drum rolling, drum rolling, drum rolling. Just a second. So the vision is the Expedia for food delivery. Crave API will be a platform for all food delivery applications to compare prices, delivery time, services, and reviews, so the user could select the best option that fit their cravings. Our company goal would be get users to order food seamlessly with this application and deliver a quality service with competitive price, increase active user, and higher customer satisfaction. I'll leave it up to the panelists for further question answers.
It was Chip and Dale at the end, wasn't it? So do I get to go first then?
Sure.
Go for it, Dale.
I have a, I love, how should I say this? I think you're nailed what is frustrating to so many people. You know, I don't do this anywhere near as much as my kids in terms of going and ordering stuff online, but I watch them like jump from app to app trying to figure out who has what and which company can they get their bubbly drink from or whatever. And, you know, especially with COVID and smoke all over the place, you know, we don't go outside, so we want everything to be delivered. And I just watch them use it, and it's a mess. So I think you identified a real problem, but I didn't want to focus again on exactly what you're presenting. I wanted to focus on your presentation itself. And so I'll just pick a couple and then hand it off to Josh and Andrew to keep going. So a couple of things for me when I think about this stage, and I also want to answer one of the questions, Pashmeen, that came up while we were doing this. You know, I said something about the roadmap on the last presentation, and you know, maybe that don't need the roadmap at this point. I feel like mostly what you're doing right now is you're pitching the idea. You know, you're trying to get us to buy into the idea first, right? And if it's the idea that you're really focusing on, that's when the details of multiple years of roadmap and features being added and all that are less important. Ultimately, the roadmap's incredibly important, you know, and the features you're going to deliver and how you're going to deliver it. And absolutely, as a product manager, you got to figure that out. That's a huge part of your job, is how you're going to make this thing successful over the long run. So my comment in Preethi's presentation wasn't you don't need one. It's that right now I think you're trying to sell the idea, and so having an idea of how you roll it out is useful, but having that be really detailed is not that important. So I just wanted to throw that out. Ultimately it's incredibly important, but the stage you're in maybe not so much. Couple things that really jump out to me is first one is, you know, I think I understand what you're going to do is you're almost like a scraper app. You're going to grab this stuff from different applications and you're going to simplify dramatically the experience. But you didn't talk at all about how you know, are those companies going to let you do that? Like, what are some of the big technical risks you have in actually doing this? I know for a long time, Craigslist, people wanted to build nice front ends on top of Craigslist because it's one of the ugliest applications ever. And the founder would not let anybody do that. He blocked all sorts of ways for companies to do that. He went after them. He just wouldn't let somebody build an interface and sort of disintermediate the interaction directly with him. So I think one of the big things that when you're presenting something like this, you have to give a sense for is, you know, can you actually do this? How are you going to make sure that you're allowed to do this? And you know, because you're disintermediating all these other applications, and they don't want that, right? They don't want you to be between them and their customers. So if there's important technology in a pitch that you're making, I think it's incredibly important that you figure out how you're going to convey not everything about how you're going to do it, but how you're going to do it, how you're going to protect from them stopping you from doing it. You know, how big of a risk is that in your whole presentation? So one thing that I just want to make sure you think about. If you have any comments, jump in.
Yeah, it's more like a facilitator for the the delivery applications. They will get more revenue. They will get more customer. It's not apart from their regular app. I'm going to provide, like as I mentioned, Expedia. So as the way airlines allow, you know, Expedia to put their, you know, prices on Expedia, I'll try to facilitate these delivery partners more not like a competitor, more like a partner for them. So hopefully that will help. But you know,
well, that's good.
Thanks for all the comments.
If that's the case, I would definitely make sure you talk about that, because if they're going to be happy with you doing it, that changes everything in terms of how you might go about building the relationships up with them. And, and you know, like you said, an airline loves having their tickets sold through these other channels, because if they don't, they lose out on opportunity, right? So I think that would be if that's the way you're going to do it, that'd be really important to put in there. I'll just talk about one more area and then I'll hand it off. Is I think that you gave me all the data, but I think that you didn't paint me a nice picture. In other words, like your slides had everything that you wanted to say. But I think when you think about how you're going to pitch it, it's really important for you to paint, you know, a picture that's going to resonate, really resonate. You know, I'll give you an example of, you know, what Josh and Pashmin and I did before. Is we were changing the way we supported our customers, going from the traditional way that we were supporting them, where they would call in when they had a problem, to, you know, we were going to tell them ahead of time, you know, that they had a problem. And our big boss couldn't get his head around how this was actually going to work. He thought what was going to happen is he was no longer going to have a connection to the customers, because we were, you know, building this technological solution. And his view was that personal interaction with the customer is the most important thing. And he believed that was incredibly important. So I had to actually explain to him, I said, can you imagine a world where, you know, instead of waiting for some irate customer to call you to complain about a problem, you're calling them ahead of time and you're saying, hey, you actually have this incredibly, this big issue in your environment, and it's going to cause you to go down. And let me talk about how we can actually help you to solve that before it actually impacts your business, before it brings you down, right? And so, you know, for him, I actually had to talk to him because he wasn't a technologist. I couldn't go, oh, you know, we're going to use artificial intelligence and, you know, machine learning and collect all this telemetry data and all that. He just glazed over, right? But when I could actually present it from a customer interaction perspective, he just lit up. He's like, oh, and the other thing he was really worried about, we at VMware, 85% of our customers never ever call us. So he doesn't really even have that relationship. So we were starting to tell him about how he could now have a relationship with customers that he really didn't have in the past. And that changed everything for him. So I guess the key thing is, you know, help make sure that you're painting that picture. You're really telling that story that resonates. And you did it a little bit at the beginning, but I think through the rest of the presentation, it really became data heavy and less, you know, sort of engaging me in the story. And I think your story is actually a really good one. So I'll stop there.
Thank you so much.
Yep.
Appreciate it.
Yeah. I have similar sentiments. So, you know, first of all, I believe that the best product managers are actually storytellers. They can tell a great story. To Dale's point, right? They paint that picture of something. There's a huge problem out there, which we know this is a huge problem, right? I have it. I would love to see all of the restaurants out there that do delivery and then get the cheapest price with the fastest delivery time. I would love this solution. But, you know, that should have came first, right? That vision that you have for the product, put that right up front. And then, you know, like Dale said, it was data heavy, which I think you know, back up your story with key data points, but you don't have to throw all the data at us, the kitchen sink, if you will, in this pitch. So that's the other piece. And then, you know, part of building credibility as a product manager is also talking about the risks that you're going to have. And with such a huge solution that you're trying to build here, I think, you know, showcasing in a confident way, obviously don't fall on your sword saying, oh, here's all the problems and I can't solve them. But to be able to say, hey, here's my 3 biggest hurdles to getting this off the ground, and here's how I'm going to deal with that. That builds a lot of confidence with, you know, would-be investors in this area. If you're going to go pitch this to stakeholders inside of your company, they'll really get a sense that you really understand the market and what needs to happen to make this thing successful. So those are a couple of things there. I thought you did a great job of sizing the market. You know, this is a really big growing space, but to Dale's point, like, really, why would these companies who are growing so fast want to put a medium in between? Unless you're like a Google or an Expedia, you have this huge gravity pool of customers that you can bring to them already, but you're going to be a small company, right? Just starting out. So how would you partner with these companies to rapidly grow their business faster than what they're growing already, right? So that was just kind of like, you did a great job of sizing the market, but then connecting it back to how you're going to grow your company and partner, that was a little bit left out. I mean, do you know, I mean, this is a question, do you know if Grubhub and DoorDash, they have open APIs today?
So as I mentioned earlier in my presentation, I talk about Food Boss. So I think except DoorDash, Uber Eats, Grubhub, Caviar, they actually put their, in that platform. So since it had a higher bounce rate and very few people knew it, it's been out since 2016. But
Yeah.
to be honest, I learned it when I did the just research, but it's not famous.
Yeah, I think that would have been great to have hey, these big companies already have open APIs, and we could go do this with them first, right? And try to grow their businesses as part of that partnering aspect. Because I just wasn't aware, as a layman in that space. I don't know if those companies have open APIs.
Yeah, I think the goal for these companies is to let restaurants embed their delivery services within their websites. So if users would go to the restaurant's website directly, they can go and order from there rather than having to go into DoorDash or Uber Eats to go place an order. So that's the strategy, or that's the idea that these companies have.
Yep. And, going back to just distilling down the information, I think, that discussion list that you had in the front, that could scare some people off, right? Really go for the vision first, tell the story, and then put those data points, layer them throughout the rest of the presentation. You don't need to put them all out there as a kind of an agenda list. That's not, it's not needed in this stage anyways. But otherwise, I wish you bring this to market, because I think a lot of people would use it and and love the service.
Solves a real problem.
Yeah.
Thank you, Josh. I appreciate it.
Andrew, do you have any closing thoughts, comments on this?
I don't have too much new to add. I've definitely felt the pain of this problem, right? So just like everyone else, so it's something I can relate to. By no means am I a subject matter expert in this area, but in my mind, the presentation was a quintessential example in many respects with a lot of great data. And we've heard about that. Maybe it was a little too much data. For me, it came across a little austere and just not quite human enough. And I think that's the storytelling that both Dale and Josh talked about. I'm just a simple sales guy. And so I'm always going to have dumb questions. And I only wrote down one question. And the only question I wrote down was, for this to be successful, do Grubhub, DoorDash, Uber Eats, et cetera, have to opt in and participate? So everyone's already talked about that to death. That's the only thing that stood out to me, because obviously it's a great concept, but so critically hinged on this massive breakpoint that's reliant to be solved for and to be available. So I think, I'll really reinforce speaking to address the elephant in the room. Don't make me have to write that question down. Get ahead of it, own it, have a plan for it. There were a lot of great tangible, and this is one of the nice things about this, is the success metrics are very easy, right? MAU, DAU, all of these very specifics that are going to be very easy to measure. But how do we get to the point where we can do the measuring, and how do we have the confidence that that plan is intact? Which comes down to, in my mind, what's the plan to get these key partners on board? Are there open APIs, like I think Josh mentioned? And I think really instilling confidence to, hey, I've thought this through. Here's the challenges. Here's my plan to do this is going to be key. It's really interesting, right? You're basically talking about, there's a great article a few years ago about how all of these are the interface businesses, right? Airbnb, DoorDash, Uber, bringing two different parties together. In the case of DoorDash, it's restaurants, drivers, and consumer. And so you're talking about, Kayak and Expedia, an interface of interfaces, and there's a lot in there, and just making sure there's confidence that there's a plan on how to get just even the first step taken care of, which is getting everyone to play nice together. That's all I got.
That's awesome. Thanks, Andrew.
Thank
Great
you,
work,
Andrew.
Howard. A lot of good comments coming in from our viewers on YouTube. One of them says, great learning, validation of idea and feasibility analysis, extremely important. And Josh, to your point, right, being a good storyteller, it's so, so critical for any pitch, right? Whether it be for a new idea or whether it's to convince any of one of your stakeholders. So cool. Let's
Hey, Pat, before you jump off, I just have one thing I wanted to add to what Andrew said. Is I was sort of imagining when you got to that end of that presentation that you were going to give me a pretty simple chart that showed how the revenue grew, and that chart seems like it would be. I'm not a revenue guy, but it seems like it's pretty simple. Like how many people order, how much they spent or whatever it was, and then if you're taking a percentage, how much you get, right? And I just feel like that's a nice curve that's growing, and just giving you something very simple like that, would give you a sense for, is it 1,000 people? Is it 100,000? Is it 1,000,000 people, 10 million people before I start to see interesting numbers? Just something that made that jump out would probably help a lot in just getting a sense for kind of what the revenue, how much work there is, because you presented a really detailed list of things you might do to get more, customers. That was a long list. Also, by the way, I'd make that much shorter, and it looked like it would cost you a lot of money to do all that. But if I had a good sense for what that ramp looks like, I'd also kind of have a sense for, okay, can you just do this by how much is word of mouth versus how much is really Facebook versus how much is like paid advertising? Get just a sense for that. Probably one little chart would have given us a really good sense for what that looks like.
Yeah, and Dale, I would just add one thing to that, because Shaul actually made a nice comment looking through these. Is let's say your business stakeholder said this is a great idea, or your investor said this is a great idea. What do you need to get started? Right. To Dale's point about what is that curve to grow, how many thousands of users you're going to want to get in, the first quarter, all of that. Underneath that curve, you can put, here are the things I want to build and estimated cost, headcount that I'm going to need to go do that, because everything is resource constraint. There's not unlimited resources in the world. And so, an investor or business stakeholder is going to ask you that. If he buys into or she buys into the idea, that's going to be the next question. Okay, what next? How much money is this going to be? How many heads do you need? What are you going to do in the first 3 months?
And you might just put that in the back, right? You don't have to have that as the first thing you show. You want them to buy into it. And then when they say, help me understand that, you can just pull something out and go, here you go, right? That's your answer to their question.
That's right.
Thank you.
Cool. Awesome. Well, thank you, everyone. This was great. Next up, we have Keval.
Hi, everyone. Good morning, good evening, and good afternoon. Let me share my screen first.
So Keval is, he brings it up, but he is an outlier. He is not from technology, and he's going to introduce himself here. But I was so excited to see someone who's so passionate about technology and wants to transition into technology space.
There must be product managers outside of technology anyway, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, just let me first start with the timeline of my whole journey. So 1994, I was born. So that was the first time when I thought about product management. I was playing with my ball. Not my ball, the balls. Then turned 12 and 16. After 12 to 16, I did my bachelor's in civil engineering back in India. Then from 16 to 18, I worked for Government of India as a project engineer in the national highway sector. Then I thought I'm lacking something in my skills and I want to explore different cultures and just go around the world. So why not do my master's? So I came to United States to do my master's in civil engineering from 2018 to 2019. I just graduated in last December 2019 and I started working for a consulting firm in the construction industry in Washington, D.C. as a cost consultant. I have always been passionate about solving complex problems, coming up with creative ideas to solve customer and user needs. That pushed me to pursue my career towards product management. Thus, to refine the concept of product management, I joined PM Masterclass by Pasmin because of its personalized attention from the instructor and the live project which we worked on. So today, in front of all the panelists, I will be presenting my product, or you can say the product which I've worked for the past 8 weeks, a broad book. So before like jumping into the product, like I will just want to give a small background market research which I've done, or like a background of my product, or like the top pain points. So this is a problem like which I can relate actually and resonate, as I've gone to the same hustle and dream of studying abroad, and I can relate to the pain points and struggles which a student face during the whole process. I believe to be a good product manager, if a person can feel about a product, or like if he has something related to the product, like he can be a really good product management. So every year, approximately 1.1 million students come to United States for their education. 650,000 students travel to Canada for their education. 380,000 travel to Germany to pursue their dream, and many more go to countries all over the world to explore and experience different cultures and to increase their job opportunities. So now that we have an idea about the market, which is enormous, let me highlight the challenges international students face during the whole journey. If you look at the international students' journey, there are three main phases. Number one, the pre-admission process. Here, the students is looking for information before he or she makes a decision to study abroad. Second, during the admission process. This is the phase where a student navigates through the whole application process. And third, but not the least, after the admission is secured. Here, a student wants to get accustomed or acclimated to the environment he or she is in and advance the position. The student want to achieve the goal, which we know in most cases is to find a job or establish a career. So based on this problem, there appears to be an opportunity where Ankita is experiencing a problem in a study abroad process, having difficulty to find credible information, access to resources that she can trust, and connecting with people in that country whom she can rely on. And by solving this problem, will make her study abroad experience easier and help her realize her career goals stress free. So I have looked into two user personas for now, like students seeking help and students or like professional who wants to offer help to students. So the first one, student seeking help. Ankita. Ankita is currently a senior at Guwahati University in India, pursuing her Bachelor of Science in Computer Science. She belongs to a remote town of India. Her goal is to lead a product-based company that will impact the life of billions of people. She wants to pursue her master's in computer science from a top university in the United States. Her frustration is looking for reliable resources for the study abroad process, managing studies along the graduate school application process, and also seeing the hefty amount of money that the consultancies charge for helping. So my second user persona is Debojit. He's currently working as a project engineer in Denver, earning 72,000 USD per year. His goal is to start his own venture and also to own a property. His frustration is the hefty amount of student debt which he is currently trying to pay. So he's looking for some extra income sources which can help him pay his loan sooner, not later. So as we discuss the pain points of a student who dreams of studying abroad, let us now do the validation of the opportunity hypothesis and the pain points. This will help us understand whether this opportunity is worth pursuing or whether our assumption on the problem statements are true. So to validate my problem, I have sent out an invite to like 45 plus people. 20 accepted the offer, and out of 20, 16 validated the problem statement, which is around like 80%. Ideally, I want to talk to more students, but because of the time constraint, I was just able to talk to 20 people. So below are the two quotes which I've taken while interviewing the candidate. So Aditya Singh, he said that like, he found that it was really frustrating to find information because there was so much out there, and he was not able to differentiate between what is real and what information is fake. And Dheeraj, he told me that it could have been better or more easier for him if he could known someone who could have helped him in his house searching and talked through the basic stuff requirement in Blacksburg. So to summarize, I'm confident that this problem exists quite pervasively, and every student experiences this. As I mentioned, 1 million students come to United States, and if we can make their life easier and stress-free, it would be a great solution and opportunity for us to pursue. So let us talk you about my solution. So going abroad for a degree is a complex process. Abroad book will bring all the information you need in one place, connects you to the seniors and expert for solutions and questions, help students in the application process, help them review their SOP, their LOR, their resume, and help them save money and time for in-depth referrals for the student health insurance and housing realtors. I believe this is to be a platform that helps connect students seeking to travel abroad with students who are already in their destination country. So it's like a small matchmaking part of type of thing, you can say. So now let us define the use cases. So I have like 3 use cases for my product. So the first one is like one-to-one mentorship session. Uh, Here the student can search the relevant mentor in the platform with whom they can book an appointment on one-to-one basis and ask questions and discuss the ideas with them, like what they want to pursue and how they can go about. They can also access the data about universities and programs. They can also this will be student will be getting like an end-to-end help from the mentor, right from deciding on the universities to the time they get the internship. So it is not like we will leave them in between. So we will helping them from the start till the end. So the second use case is the university selection, program analysis, and etc. Here the student will get a personalized profile review, guidance on selecting universities, helping them in the admission process, reviewing SOP, like statement of purpose, letter of recommendation, resume, etc., which plays a really important role in an application process, and also figuring out financing, which I believe like or I know that like every students have in their mind while thinking of studying abroad. And the third use case start from the day when the student get the acceptance letter. We will help students get the best possible health insurance as per the university requirement and get discount for them on health insurance and also help them getting the best possible housing at an affordable rates. So now I will show you the wireframe for my MVP, minimal viable product. So this would be like a landing page from a platform where like student can browse through all the services and they can register and both student and mentor can register. There will be like a small tab for events where uh, I will be putting up for all the upcoming events like the podcast with the mentors or motivation seminar or like any success stories which we have, and they can also browse through all the services. This is the form or like the page will come up after the student try to register. From here, I will get like we will get the basic info from here so that we can have a follow-up call afterwards to know their needs. This is the registration form for the mentors, which is similar to students. So this is a page where the student can search for the different mentors and book a one-to-one call with them. They can schedule the first appointment for free and then it will be charged based on the subscription model. And this is an exclusive data and information from. It will be like an page where student can get an information about the universities exclusively from the seniors and professor to decide on which university is the best return on investment among their admits. And this is all the services which I will be providing at first as an MVP, like the packages for the bachelors, for the masters, MBA, or like smaller packages like SOP review, LOR review, and resume. So I have done the competitive or you can say alternate landscape study for my project to check the viability of my product. Mainly, all the competition can be divided into three different types. Number one, online platform, consultancy, and the social media groups. So I've also done the competitive analysis to see uh, how my platform is different from them. So all the options, they don't provide like one-to-one mentorship. The problem with the social media group is that like they are very unorganized and scattered, you can say. And the problem with the consultancy is that like they charge a lot of money and they have really bias in recommendation based on how much their commission they will get from the university. Therefore, they are not trustworthy. So I believe every new product shares one common aspect, that is a well-planned go-to-market strategy. A perfect go-to-market strategy outlines the step to succeed in the market. So my go-to-market strategy focus mainly on the following three parts, you can say. So number one, it will be like a value proposition or the positioning statement. Second, there will be a press release. There will be like different advertisement channel like LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram. Also, like as everyone knows, like YouTube has gained a lot of popularity these days. So I will also try to start a YouTube channel and with occasional podcasts with mentors and also post my success stories with the students. And the third, and I think this could play a really important role in the market strategy, the university campaign. I will try to connect with the universities by selecting the campus ambassador who will market my product among the students. And the one who will be chosen as an ambassador, he will get some benefits from it. Next, now as we have discussed all these, now let's talk about the business model and the monetization strategy, which I believe is like it's really important for any product to sustain in the future. So mine would be like a marketplace and a referral based. So in the market base, like we will take a percentage fee, will be charged from the transaction between students seeking help and offering help, and the one who's the mentors who is offering help, and also like as a percentage commission from various services like the realtors, the insurance agency, and the financial institutions. Now, just this is let us go through the roadmap for the next 1 year. Uh, so in the first, like the quarter for 2020, or you can just say like the first quarter of my product launch, I will focus mainly on building the customer base and early adopters, talking to people in the universities and making them aware of about my product and all, and also setting up the website. I think if there's something available in the net and if they are able to browse through it, then I think it will really give a really good picture about your product, that how good is your product and all. And the second quarter, you can say this, the first quarter of 2021, by then I will try to release my MVP. And at first, I will do the personal review about the applications. Uh, and also, like, I will focus mainly on the top 30 US universities. And I will try to get 10 mentors sign up in the platform based on my own network in the United States. Third, or you can say that quarter second of 2021, I will try to expand into different countries and not just focus on the United States. And also, I will try to release a mobile app release. And in the quarter third 2021, or at the end of the first year of the launch, I will try to add partnership with insurance provider and also add partnership with the realtors. So these are the success metrics which I will be measuring it from time to time to see how my product is performing. So it will be like the number of universities covered, uh, how many students and professional has signed up in my platform to be mentors, and number of students who have signed up to seek services, and number of successful matches and transactions. So at the end of second quarter, you can say the Q1 of 2021, I will try to have top 30 universities in my platform. Like I will try to get 10 mentors and 50 student 360 services and 30 successful transactions. And at the end, I want to summarize the company's vision of being a world's leading and trusted platform for student and working professional who aspire to study abroad. It will be like a one-step solution where student can access step-by-step guide, ask seniors and experts for help, and save money and time. At the end, I want to thank my mentor, Pasmin, for all the help throughout the 8 weeks, which has provided it to me for developing this product and clearing my doubt in the product management concept. Thank you everyone for taking your time to go through my product story, and I will open the platform for any questions.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Great job, Kirill.
Hey, can
Thank
I
you.
just, before we do feedback, can I just ask one question first?
Yes.
Can you just talk a little bit? I didn't about you said that what did you say? You said consultancy. There's consultancies and they charge for this. Can you just say how much do they charge to help people do this?
Yeah. So like I've gone to the platform, so it's basically around like if you subscribe for like 5 university package, they will charge you around like anything between $5,000 to $10,000 USD.
$5,000 to $10,000.
Yes, it's a really good, huge amount for a student, you can say.
Okay, good. I just didn't have a sense for that at all.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Maybe Josh is first this time. Who's?
Sure, I can jump in. So Kewal, great presentation. I'm going to go in chronological order with my line of questioning. So, you started with the market size first and tried to set up the problem statement through the market size. So I was tracking along with you on like how many students come to the U.S., Germany, different regions. The market size is good. Then you started to go into, okay, what are the phases that these students go through, which I thought was really, really nice. And I kind of wish that you would have stuck with that theme of here are the use cases that I'm going to solve in those phases of the customer journey, right? So your students are your customers. They're, trying to figure out which schools they want to go to, get the right information. Then they're going through the admissions process with letter of recommendation, application, and then they get accepted. Hooray, great. And then they got to figure out how to do it at their budget, reduce costs, get into the right, housing and all of that stuff. So I saw those use cases. I thought that was great, but then the rest of your presentation, it was kind of, it was meandering across all that. So I thought you could have organized it with those pain points in those phases and said how you're going to address each one of those. The other question that I had was when you presented the two, I think it was Ankita and who was the gentleman that you had that was in Colorado?
That was it.
Yeah. So I didn't understand the second one, which was this guy is already out of school. He's in, he has college loans and he's trying to reduce his loans. I didn't understand how your solution was going to help him necessarily. So that was one big question that I had. I don't know if you have an answer for that.
It's like I've thought of like if students want to like have a one-on-one session with a mentor. So at first they will get a free session with the mentor. So after that, like if they want to continue with that, so the mentor can charge the student. So based on that, like Debojit, who is trying to clear his loan, he can earn some extra money and from being a mentor. So everyone, I just want to say this add to these like for us, like we have gone to the same process of like hustling of like going to the admission process. We always want to help students who are trying to come to the United States or any country. So it could be like an extra platform with which they can connect the students and the mentors.
Okay, I didn't connect that point. So the second persona would actually be making money off the platform by helping other students because he's already been through it. Yeah. He's reducing his he's in the workforce and he's trying to reduce his debt burden, essentially. Yeah. Okay, that helps me. Then as you were going through the actual use cases and the features of the platform, I thought, basically, I was like, you can make a company out of each one of these. So if you had to choose, which one would you do first and go deep on and then kind of expand? Do you have a sense?
That's a really good question. I haven't thought of that before, but like as of now, at the present, I think the mentorship program, and the packaging program, like they can go hand in hand as the first part, as of like the first MPP or like as a different company, and like the relationship or like the partnership with the different insurance and the realtors and all. That could be a different company, that team.
Yeah, I think you should look at that because you got to be focused, and hit the ball out of the park on that first use case, and then you'll have credibility to go to the next one in the market. I don't think you're going to be able to do all three. I mean, just my assumptions, well enough to be successful. So maybe partner up with Preeti on his mentoring program, but you have your industry slant, which is helping international students, right? I think that would be really cool. I think the let me see if I had anything else in my notes here. I also just took away from your timeline. You've been waiting for this moment for a long time, right? So with your ball and your little chair, you've been waiting for this opportunity. So I thought that was really cool that you did that timeline and you gave us a little sense of who you are and your passions there. So thank you for doing that. That's something that I wrote down as well. But those are my main comments.
Thanks a lot. I appreciate it.
Want me to go? Okay. Yeah, I think this is a really cool idea as well. So I'll try not to hit on any of the same ones that Josh did. I do. Maybe this is similar, but I felt like starting with the size of the market before knowing what the problem was hard for me to get my head around. So I was looking at that size of market going, size of market for what, And so maybe just give me a better idea of what it is and then the market. And I go, oh, that's huge, right? It's really big. When you, I don't really have a good sense for your revenue model. I think I understand, the mentorship piece again, but I don't have a really good sense for what that revenue model is for your business. Maybe just talk a little bit about that again.
Yeah. So at first, like for the first year, I'm not thinking of taking much of the revenue, just building up my customer base and all. So at the end of the first year, as I've shown in my roadmap, I will partnering with the different insurance agency and the realtors and provide it to the students. So based on that, I can take commission fees from them. So they could provide a good monetization.
Okay. Now, one thing you mentioned in the revenue model, there were just 2 points there, but you have this referrals, and I worried a little bit when I saw that about conflict of interest. So if somebody is going to trust you to be the place where you can get the best advice around where you're going to go, and you're going to get the best advice around which is the right insurance and the right place to live. But then there's a referral fee involved in a place that you might stay. So is that actually the best place for me, or is that the one that actually signed up with you to get a referral fee, right? So I just think it was one of those things where, the kind of red lights went off and said, wait a minute, if you're collecting revenue, am I really getting an open, honest opinion about what the best options are for me? Or am I just getting the insurance company that's giving you the best cut of the insurances that somebody signs up? So just was one of those things that it kind of gave me a little red flag.
Okay, so for that, I was thinking of not selecting the insurance agency or related by myself, but I have a connection of network throughout the United States. So I know a single person, or I know people in every university, you can say. So I can ask the person who have studied in that university or in that location to let me know what's best suit for them.
Yeah.
So it is not I will be contacting them, but person in my network, he will refer me that this is the best one for these universities, this location and all, and he will let me know, and then I will contact that realtors and all.
Yep.
So, yeah.
That's good, because I think that's a trust platform. And ultimately you need it to be really trustworthy. And then I think two more I'll mention. One is it feels, again, very people focused. In order to get in order to scale, you got to scale the number of consultants that are going to help run the process. And I'm a technologist. I would love to find a way that it doesn't scale based on the number of people. It scales in some way based on the technology that you're using to help. Because otherwise it sounds like a consulting organization, right? And if it starts to sound like it's a consulting company, then we know that the whole revenue model and the scaling, your cost scale with, number of customers, and it's not as pretty of a revenue picture. So it's just another thing to think about is anytime I see a business, if it can scale based on technology and not on people, then you're looking for that big hockey stick, because that's going to be the thing that's a breakout, right? And if it scales with the number of people, like I said, it feels like a consulting organization, great business, but it's not going to have that same kind of hockey stick. And then the last one, I just really loved your idea of creating a YouTube channel for this. I think you could put so much good content out there that would build up the credibility of what you're doing, that I think if you really, double, triple down on getting great content information out there, helping people for free, right? More and more they would start to build a trust relationship with you and want to come to you to get the kind of help that the company would offer. So I like that a lot. Anyway, pass it off to Andrew.
So Keval, I thought the concept's really interesting. I wrote down some notes, and I'm just going to kind of go through them. And the first thing I had just at a high level is I wonder if there's and this kind of ties in with some of, I think, what you heard maybe from Josh. I wonder if there's an opportunity to tighten up kind of the overall presentation, and in the process, focus and also clarify certain aspects, like what Josh asked about. I assumed that Denver persona, that was an income opportunity, but that's an assumption, always a dangerous thing to do. I could have been wrong. And we certainly don't want like, a key evaluator like Josh being unclear. This is more a tactical thing, and I'm going to share it because I'm always looking for what's going to go wrong and sort of that critical eye of what's coming around the corner, or where did this stuff break. And when you went through the 45 invites, 20 accepted, 16 validated the problem statement. As I'm looking at trying to find those things in my mind, I kind of got a little stuck on, hey, 25 did not accept, and what does that mean? And I share that because as you go about telling the story with others, it might be just a consideration as well as you continue to build this out. I really liked what you did with the problem statement: pre-admission process, admission process, post-admission, finding a job, establishing a career. There's certain aspects in there that maybe you could continue to flesh out on the pre-admission, the admission process, like getting into some particulars, but I thought it was very concise, and I really like that. Josh touched on this, and it kind of comes back to focus. Like, the thing that stands out to me is the breadth of this project and of use cases. As an example, so there's one-on-one mentorship, there's university selection, program analysis, financial assessment, and guidance, and health insurance, and it seems very broad and very ambitious. And where to start and what to focus on first, and which pieces are going to be the building blocks. And there was some, as someone mentioned, maybe Josh, partnering for the mentoring piece. So it just seems like a lot, and focusing on narrowing down what the building blocks look like over time. And then with the success metrics, I'm a sales guy, so I'm always looking to push stuff. And I was just wondering, is there an opportunity to stretch a little bit? And I think I remember seeing 30 and 50, and I'd like to see 300 and 500, but you want it to be reasonable and achievable at the same time. So that was my feedback. I think it's a really great concept, and appreciate you walking through all of it.
Thanks a lot for the feedback.
Awesome.
Yeah, I just had to add one thing to what Andrew just said. Picking the right metrics are absolutely incredibly important, because it has to be something where whoever's listening to it is going, wow, that's a good number. But it also has to be something where they're not like, you're nuts, there's zero chance you're going to get there, right? I think it's tricky because oftentimes you need to probably put a number out there you're not that comfortable with, but you just definitely need to have a way to believe you can get there. So it's a tricky balance. I thought what Andrew said was dead on.
Hey, Dave, I think that's a great podcast topic for you.
Yeah, and you have experience.
I don't know if would agree that I'm good at putting the right number out there.
Yeah, you have experience putting good numbers out there, but actually how you get to these numbers would be a great topic, right? What is a stretch goal that is ambitious enough to get people rallied around it, right? You want the whole organization rallied around, hey, I'm going to go get 300 customers in the first quarter. Wow, that's a hard number. But you don't want to be too ambitious where everybody's like, there's no way in hell that we're going to get there. I think that's really important. And how you actually build to that number and justify that number is key.
Yeah, absolutely. Cool. Well, thank you, everyone. This was really, really good information. Great feedback from all our panelists. We really appreciate the time and energy that everyone invested. Maybe a couple of closing comments in terms of what guidance and tips that each one of you can share with our viewers in terms of transitioning into product management, being successful at it, and then just accelerating their careers from being a junior product manager to being a senior product manager. Any closing comments, thoughts that you can help our students with?
I'll go.
That's good.
So I'm a pretty big fan of product managers, although I'm a pretty big fan of engineers too, and I'm a big fan of the tension that exists between engineering and product management. I think that Pashmin and I talked a little bit about this. I think he calls it the CEO of a product. I might call it a general manager of your products or your product line, but it's a really cool job. It's a big job. It's hard. Doesn't always mean you have a ton of people, but it means that you have a ton of influence over what ultimately gets built, and you have to figure out how to spend your time in the right way, because you got to spend time understanding what the customers need and deeply what's going on with the field. You got to spend your time with engineering, making sure you're really connected to them and having the right discussions and debates about what gets done. You really have to, you cut your time in a lot of pieces, but you're so critical, because if you define the right thing and the engineering team builds the right thing and you get it out the door with the right marketing programs, it's hugely successful. And if you sort of pick the wrong things, push for the wrong things, it's not so much. So it's such a super cool role that I'm excited you guys are all going after it. I definitely think, and you all have a lot of this anyway, but be innovative. You've got to find new, interesting, challenging things to go do. You don't always get to do that at the beginning. Sometimes you're slogging away, writing your product requirements documents and things like that, because you're still learning the ropes. But always look for ways to introduce interesting new ideas, change the way things are done, simplify them. And the last thing I would say is really, really understand what your customers need. I don't always mean, understand your customers as much as I mean understand what they need so that you can deliver them the right thing. They might not ask you for it, but understand the use case. And I think, Kowal, you mentioned it first, this is probably something you understand because you went through this. Other people on YouTube commented, that this is really needed because they've all been through it as well. So you deeply empathize with the use case, deeply empathize with the use cases so that you can come up with the right solution. I think if you do that and do it in an innovative way, opportunities are huge. So that's my comments, Pashmin.
Awesome. Thank you, Dale. Very insightful. Anyone else? Josh, Andrew?
Andrew, you want to go?
Sure. Thank you. So first of all, I have to admit that product managers are some of my favorite people. They're fun. They're smart. They're empathetic. They're really smart. What they do is so complex. You have to identify this idea and the size of the opportunity. It incorporates fundamentals of business and go to market, like Pashmin opened with. A key part is the stakeholder management, right? You're really interfacing cross-function with a lot of different parts of the business. It's a ton of fun from someone who hasn't done it but has worked closely with them, and I think there's a lot of opportunity with all of that. You're essentially owning a P&L in many respects, that GM. So I think it's pretty cool place to be. Definitely requires a lot of disciplines and a practice that I'm sure will build over time. And for me, I'm always looking at, the go-to-market aspect. So I think, as where the stages where each of you are at in these ideas, concepts, and projects is really, how does the rubber meet the road? And, I forget who it was kind of talking through, I think Dale was you, the product roadmap's great. It's going to go out the window the moment it's like battle plans, right? So what's real, and what does next month look like, and then the next quarter after that, and what are the key tangible items that have to really, tasks and actions that have to occur and be completed, and not just on paper and then the plan, but like very specifically, how do you get whatever it is that you need done, whether that's partners onboarding, whether it's neutralizing, competitors, whether it's breaking into the market. It's really getting concrete and what those plans look like.
Very cool. Very cool.
Yeah. Great advice, Andrew.
By the way, sorry, I got to add this really quick. I thought this was amazing, and Pajmin, great job putting this all together, and the ideas that your team has brought to the table. This was super inspirational. So very, very cool.
Thank you, Andrew. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Yeah, and I'll build on that thought, Andrew, which is, I think there's so much demand for product managers. However, the supply is very small. And so the fact that, Preeti, Manohar, Kiwal, you're going through this program to learn about the disciplines of product management, the pressures, as you heard from Dale and Andrew, you are the glue of the product, the CEO, the GM. There's a lot of different things you have to deal with and make trade-offs. And the fact that you're going through that in practice through a program like this is huge, because everybody would say, yeah, I want to be a product manager. That sounds awesome. They're one of the most, needed resources in companies now. But not everybody can do a great job at it. So I think the fact that you're building towards that is great. For me, I think we get caught up a lot in business and, in these companies and starting things, and, how are we going to create a big business that's profitable and, tied to the money and the solutioning and all of that. But going back to what Dale said, really knowing your customer and empathizing with them and knowing the customer journey, if you can do that and be the voice of your customer, I don't think there's ways you can go wrong, but you will be successful, right? And I think that's going through and really kind of detailing out, Kiwal, again, your phasing of, hey, learning about schools, going through the admission process, then afterwards, like, what are the different things that customers are going to need in all those different phases, and looking at that and looking at innovative ways to deal with that with technology or people or process, and then trying to figure out how you're going to resource all of that and build it. That's what a product manager does, right? And I think the closer you can be to your customers and calibrate to what their needs are, the more successful you're going to be in this role. So just really figure out how you get close to your customers, stay close to your customers, and be their voice, and things will evolve.
Yep. Great advice, Josh. Great advice. Awesome. Well, thank you, everyone. This was, again, a great experience for me. Extremely gratifying, humbling, as I'm, able to help others transition into product management, and we're all learning. So I learned a lot through this process as well, and I'm just honored that I'm privileged to have this opportunity. And thank you again, Josh, Dale, Andrew, for joining us and spending your weekend. It's definitely something that I really appreciate, and I'm sure our students appreciate as well. Just in closing, yeah, go ahead.
Yes. Sorry. So I thought, before you close it off, I have some few questions for the panelists. So I shouldn't. Okay, I think Dale already touched on the thing, the product managers or the CEOs or the general managers, or he just said that the tension between engineers and the product managers, what he likes. yeah, I can relate to that since I'm from engineering background. And but what really drives me towards product management, or how I see product management, is like I relate to them to entrepreneurs. So I feel that product management is kind of an entrepreneurship, like where you research about the product and do all these things, and that's what drives me actually towards product management, which I'm very much passionate about. I would like to know like what exactly drives our panelist members on to being a product manager in their perspective.
I've never been a product manager, so but I think
you hire a lot of product managers, Dale.
Product managers. I think what actually drives me is making a difference, and it throughout my career it was make a little difference, make a bigger difference, make a bigger difference. So for me it was always, that's what drove me, was making that difference. It was helping our customers be more successful. It was delivering a product that worked, that made the company money. It was whatever those things were. It was always, for me, it was making a difference. And so you moving from engineering into product management, my son just moved from product management into engineering because he really wants to get the breadth of knowledge. I don't think it matters, never mattered to me, honestly, what organization I was in or had responsibility for. I ran IT for a company for a few years. Like, some people say IT is awful. It was great for me because we were making a difference in how we were getting things done. We were changing, we were building systems to allow the sales team to be more successful, whatever it was. So for me, it's making a difference. And product management, if that's where your passion is, a great job. If you're an engineer and as you get more senior, you can make a bigger difference. You can propose new ways to do things that just mind-boggling. Nobody sat around from VMware a long time ago and it probably didn't come directly from somebody going, hey, can we virtualize networking and servers? Probably not. It was very incremental and new, cool engineering technology ideas that came together. So I think you can innovate anywhere. If this is the place and this is the set of things you love, it's a great place to be. But for me, it's about making a difference.
Thank you.
Yeah, and I think making a difference is also, having influence, right? And scaling the amount of influence you have across either the organization or your customer base. And as an engineer, Preethi, I'm sure that, the software that you're building, you want it to be used by a lot of people, right? Product managers want their products to be used by many people and found valuable and build credibility and have that influence, right, in the world. And I think, as anybody in any area, that discipline, product management, engineering, product marketing, operations, IT, as you move up in your career, you scale that influence. You have more impact on more people, and that's just amazing. It's amazing the responsibility that we have. But at the same time, you got to deal with more complexity, more ambiguity, right? There's more gray space in that scale. And so that entrepreneurial sense, right, to deal with all these different disciplines as a product manager and kind of know how, engineering, product management, product marketing, all of these things fit together is really cool. You are a jack of all trades, right, in that regard, and you have the scale and influence to make a difference.
Thank you.
I'm not a PM either, so that's the disclaimer here. In fact, nowhere near it. But I have, and I agree. I think it is absolutely entrepreneurial, Preethi. So I'm glad you said that. It's like you're the founder within this business, having ownership of this thing, and doing everything an entrepreneur has to do, which is make it successful. And that's such a complex thing to do. My perspective on sales might be a little different than most. For me, sales is problem solving, and great engineers make great salespeople, and product managers are oftentimes the best salespeople. And when you're problem solving, probably you are moving towards making an impact. So it's a really fun place to be.
Wow, thank you. That piece of advice was awesome. I might just try to transcribe it for all our viewers. Great. Well, thank you, everyone. I think in closing, I just want to appreciate everyone for joining today as well. This was a great session. And I really hope all our viewers found it valuable as well. So with that, please remember to subscribe to my channel. We're going to be bringing in a lot of cool insights, conversations from great leaders like the panelists who were here today. And we'll see you next time.
Thank you.